So, are you ready?
Yeah, hello, my name is Frederik Fix, and I'm here to fix your problems. Well, that's if they include software problems, that is. You see, for 15 years I was a CTO in software, and specifically SaaS companies, and I noticed the same pattern over and over. Projects go really quickly at the beginning, but after a couple of years they just grind to a halt, and the technology gets out of state. At some point I tried to figure out what's going on, and I looked first at my own team and compared the numbers with other teams, and here's what I found. The average developer spends about 29% of their time just fixing bugs. So that's reworking stuff that's already been developed, but it's broken for some reason. Now you might say, Frederik, you are just bad at this. People can do better. Well, no, this is a really global problem. So the economic impact of software defects is growing roughly 50% year over year, and it's reaching the level of industrialized nations' GDPs. So this is something that has to be fixed. Now, what is the problem? Well, this part I'm going to go a bit quickly. Ask me later, I can go in more detail. But essentially the problem is this. The state of the software, as in what it actually does, gets out of whack with the expectation of the team that develops it. And this is where stuff starts misaligning, and you come up with cracks in the fundament. Now, what Bugzoo does differently is we take every change that the team makes to the software, we simulate it forward, and we show the team exactly what are the changes that this update introduces, and based on that, they make the decision if an update is good or not. We can do this because we have unique technology that automates a specific aspect of the testing process, which is currently done manually by all teams. This is called test data automation, and this refers to coming up with the specific scenarios that have to be tested, as in what are the user roles and what are the specific prices that have to be tested. Using our approach, we can do an order of magnitude more of testing than our competitors. The test automation market is growing rapidly and expected to hit $55 billion in 2022. Our target customers are SaaS companies. These are established businesses with juicy revenue, but they're also swimming in a pool with piranhas, small startups that are looking to go after their revenue as soon as they stop innovating. We have a team of 3 covering all bases, sales and tech, and myself also as a CEO for the tech background. Our progress so far has been that we've been working on this full-time since February of this year, at which point we were accepted into the Berlin Startup Stipend. So think of this as an accelerator program by the city of Berlin. In this program, we've acquired 5 beta testing teams, not yet customers, and we're starting a proof of concept with Bosch. We're launching to the general public on the 15th of November, and we're here because we're looking for an angel investor for 25,000 euros.
Super. Thank you very much. Now we can move on to the Q&A. 4 minutes now. Okay, yeah, give some claps. All right. Now, so, Pavel?
You said that an average developer spends 30% of their time testing. Yep. So how much can you improve this ratio?
So from our research, I mean, this is, of course, projections, but we're looking that we can halve this time. So half of the problems that occur, we can fix early. And if they are fixed early, then they can be fixed in a much quicker time. Now, so that's roughly what we're looking at, like 15% of developers' time, which roughly comes out to 1 full-time developer for most software development teams.
Any other questions here? Yeah. Okay.
Well, as far as I understand, there is a bunch of other services available on the market, including some open source services as well. So what's your competitive advantage, and what's the ideal customer profile?
Sure. So first, let me start with the ideal customer. The ideal customer we're looking after is, first of all, a SaaS business. So our business tool is very much focused on SaaS and the use cases around that. Within that, we're specifically looking for marketplaces and anything that has a matchmaking component. The reason for that is technical, because of the test data generation. So in order to do matchmaking, like looking at the Wolves match, for example, as an example, there's a big data component, as in it matters exactly like what's the settings that everyone uses, and that's precisely what we are automating. Now, beyond that, we take also a philosophically different approach. That's something that I went through rather quickly before, but compared to our competition, what you usually do is you specify what you want to have happen in terms of some big document which says this is the expected behavior. Now, our approach is to say we don't care about that. What we care about is how does your software change from version to version. So we take the user interaction with the software, we use it as a baseline, and every time you change something about your software, we rerun that user interaction and tell you exactly where something changes. So if you change the color of a button, that's going to show up. If you add some new wording, that's also going to show up. And this approach allows us to essentially look into the blind spot of all of the competitors, because we don't have to specify what we want, we just say what's going to change. So it's a change of viewpoint.
I have a question about your selling strategy. How do you want to sell to customers?
Yes. So it's going to be direct sales. So we're looking, targeting the mid-market. So our average, for the start, we're looking at a monthly cost of about €1,000. That's for the start. Now, our competition is somewhere around the 3,000 to 5,000 euros mark, but that's going to require us to get some more technical capabilities plus the traction, and so that puts us squarely into the mid-market.
Good. Are there any other questions?
Sure.
Microphone, please.
Competition topic.
Oh,
So who are the main competitors?
Sorry, say again?
Who are the main competitors of Bugzoo?
Sure. So the biggest competitor is open source in terms of developer mindshare, and that's particular Selenium, and which is completely open source, and there's a fairly new competitor which is called Cypress, they do a mixture of open source plus added services. Now, what we see as a more direct comparison to us, but a smaller market of ours, is what's called crowd testing. So these are essentially Mechanical Turk for testing. So they give you 50 testers on a click of a button, but these are really low quality and but still quite expensive.
And why did you decide to start this company?
Because it was my personal problem. Yeah, so it's I really experienced this team slowing down over and over again, and well, there's economic impact and there's kind of a personal impact as well. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Okay, big applause here for Bugzoo.